Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Canning and to our ordinary council meeting for the month of July. It's Tuesday, the 21st of July, and we're starting right on time at 6 p.m. As I said, welcome one and all. I declare the meeting open, and we start, of course, by acknowledging the Whadjuk people, the traditional custodians of this land, and we also pay our respects to elders both past and present. Can I ask everyone present here this evening to please make sure your mobile phones are turned off or at least on silent for the duration of the meeting. The meeting is being live streamed via the City's YouTube channel. Council meetings are public meetings, and any information you provide shall be recorded and may be publicly accessible. The council chambers are not a parliament, and parliamentary privilege does not apply. Elected members and staff risk being held personally liable if their comments are defamatory or breach any duty of confidentiality. Statements made during council meetings are solely those of the person making them. Nothing expressed at a council meeting can be attributed to the city unless it is adopted by a resolution of this council. Elected members and employees must disclose any financial, proximity or partiality interest that they may have in an item on the agenda and declare the interest at the commencement of the meeting or at the latest when the item is about to be discussed. Financial, proximity and impartiality interests are to be disclosed in accordance with the provisions of the Act. Elected members disclosing a financial or proximity interest must not participate in that part of a meeting relating to their interest and must leave the meeting for the duration of the item. The confirmed minutes of a council meeting are the official record of that meeting. As required under the Local Government Act, the City publishes a video recording of the meeting. Recordings must not be copied, republished or reproduced without the City's express permission. And again, councillors, to ensure clear audio, can elected members please speak directly into the microphones when addressing the meeting? As item 2 tonight, attendances, apologies, we have Councillor Tucek is an apology for tonight's meeting. All other councillors are present. Thank you. An approved leave of absence at item 2.2. There are none. Disclosures of interest. CEO Michael Littleton, have we received any this evening?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I've received no declarations of interest for tonight's meeting, either of a financial nature or of a partiality nature.
Thank you. And for those wondering who I have sitting beside me on my left, on your right, I'd like to welcome Louise Seery to the City. Louise started just this week, and she's been recently appointed as a Manager of Governance for the City of Canning. We're really pleased to have you on board. Welcome. We wish you a long and successful tenure here at the City of Canning, and looking forward to get to know you a little bit better. Welcome, Louise. Just as far as announcements go at item 4 by the presiding member, I did want to just tell Council a little bit. I arrived back from London. Thank you to Council for allowing me to go on that trip. I've been studying for a week a residency at the London School of Economics, a trip that was fully paid for, fully funded, every aspect of it by the Van Leer Foundation, a Dutch foundation, which was actually funded by a very wealthy industrialist in the middle of the last century, who left his fortune for the benefit of the community to promote the development of young children, specifically babies to toddler, to 4 years of age. And I was there with the Director of Planning, Graham Bride, and also Nellie Johnston, our senior urban landscape architect. And it was life-changing, really extraordinary what we learned over there. I already had a discussion with the CEO today about what we learned, and some of the things we can improve on here as a council. And it was extraordinary to me. We had 5 really full days, including a number of very long days right into the evening. We toured all across London, including to a number of childcare centres where we saw the way in which the foundation has set up play in London and in other countries right around the world, and you'd be staggered about what they do. And I know that we've got a number of people here in the room, councillors who are parents of young children, particularly toddlers. And I was astounded to find that the evidence is that the human brain is fully developed, almost 85% developed at the age of 3. So all the creativity and imagination to develop a young child's brain to make them a fully functioning adult needs to be done in those early years between 0 and 3. And it's the really simple things. It's about, instead of, had a discussion with Michael today, we work really hard to improve our playgrounds, and we jam every piece of equipment that we can find on this earth into everything that we do to make them bigger and better. Yet over there, it's the simplest things that actually encourage children to be creative. Their playgrounds have far less equipment, and the equipment that they have is really basic, really rudimentary. I'm talking about stepping stones for toddlers and just balance beams and balance logs that they can actually walk on. And the kids find their own way to play in sand and dirt like we used to as young children. It was extraordinary to see the interaction of the children and parents joining in. So over the coming months, I really look forward to, Director Bright is still over there. I wanted to thank Nellie Johnston, who actually interrupted a family trip. Her whole family is in Europe. She left her family to come to London to undertake this for the benefit of our community, and then has gone back to join her family holiday. And Director Bright is still there. But when we get back, I would like to do a presentation to Council at least at a SIB and really talk to you in greater detail about what we learned over there. But, as an older councillor here and someone that's got 5 grandchildren, really changed my whole thinking about what we could be doing in that space. Obviously, the state government is about education of young children, but ours is about playgrounds and nurturing young kids, isn't it? And I think there's a lot to be done in that early stages of development. So really excited to impart everything that we learn. I'm still a little bit jet lagged. I've been yawning all day, got back very late on Sunday, slept for about 15 hours across Monday, and I still don't know exactly what time zone I'm in, but I'm very happy to be back. So thank you again for Council for giving me the authority to go over there. It was just simply wonderful. Enjoyed every minute of it. Reports for delegates without discussion at item 5. I have got the Deputy Mayor would like to provide a report on the WALGA South East Metro Zone meeting. And Mark, can I just say publicly thank you for minding the shop while I was away. I always leave the place in very good hands with you, and I thank you again for fulfilling the duties of the Mayor whilst I was overseas and unable to do that. So thank you. Mark, would you like to speak to your WALGA South East Metro Zone meeting?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. It was my pleasure. Always happy to help out while you're away. So I believe the full report, as it appears on the screen, that'll be available in the OCM paper post the meeting for Council's full viewing. Just a brief synopsis. At the WALGA South East Metropolitan Zone meeting on 17 July 2026, myself and Councillor Secon, on behalf of the City of Canning, put forward a motion for WALGA to escalate its advocacy for legislative reform to give councils greater capacity to regulate and manage the issue of abandoned shopping trolleys. I was pleased to report that the motion was unanimously supported by the delegates at the meeting. The resolution was then considered by WALGA State Council, which the Mayor attended at its 1 July 2026 meeting, where the Council agreed to refer it to the relevant portfolio for consideration and action. And so Council, the City of Canning, we're working together to continue to explore every avenue available to us in an effort to try and get the state government and the shopping centres to take meaningful steps to stop trolleys being dumped in our suburbs. It is our hope that WALGA will progress the resolution and invite these two entities, that is the shopping centres and the state government representatives, to a roundtable meeting at some time in the near future and convince them, hopefully, fingers crossed, to take action on the matter of abandoned shopping trolleys. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Mark Bain. Mark, I look forward to that coming to the next State Council meeting. That's where it'll go through to. So you've taken, I know you and Councillor Page have been pushing really hard for some controls to be put in place in regards to this issue, and I look forward to supporting that at the State Council. I just wanted to back up the truck one moment and also just acknowledge today, Council, you'll be aware that there was a horrific crime committed here in the City of Canning in Bentley this morning, and whilst I won't go into details, it's still being investigated. Sadly, it occurred in our city. A young mother has lost her life, her daughter significantly injured, and a young lad in custody. Lives have been destroyed, and it's a sad outcome for this city, and I just wanted to acknowledge that and pass on the condolences of this council to those family members affected directly by whatever it is that occurred out there. And as I said again, I won't delve into it. I don't know enough about it, only to say it was a really sad occurrence and just horrible that it happened here in the city of Canning. Thank you. We shall move on then.
Mr. Mayor, can I just add?
Yes.
You were moving quite quickly and I wasn't able to get your attention. Regarding 3.2, 13.1 OC-013-26, I have one of my children goes to St Norbert's, so I just wanted to put that on the record. It's
Terrific.
It's not a financial thing, but I just wanted to
No,
put
it's
that
just
out
a disclosure of interest, no problem. Impartiality.
Impartiality, exactly.
Okay, that'll be noted, and
Thank
I'll
you.
just ask governance, we'll get you to fill out the appropriate form. You've made the declaration publicly, so thank you for doing so. And if anyone else has a declaration they'd like to make, please do so before we get to the item, if you haven't done so already. Thank you for that, Councillor Jacobs. At item 6 on the agenda tonight, question time for the public. I'm told there are no questions from the public, so I don't propose to open or close public question time. We do have a number of delegations coming up in a short time, and responses to previous questions taken on notice. There are also none. Confirmation of minutes, Did I hear a noise? Confirmation of minutes from the ordinary council meeting held on the 16th of June 2026 and the special council meeting held on the 30th of June 2026. The officer's recommendation, councillors, is that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on that date, which is the 16th of June, and the council meeting, the special council meeting held on the 30th of June 2026, be confirmed as circulated. The recommendation can be found on page 2 of the agenda, and the recommendation can also be found now on screen. Can I have a mover, please, for the item? Thank you, Councillor Jacobs. A seconder would be Councillor Second. Thank you, councillors. We'll put that to the vote.
The motion to confirm the OCM and SCM minutes has been carried unanimously with all 10 in favour.
Thank you, Governance. At item 8, the receiving of petitions, presentations and deputations. At item 8.1, petitions, there are none. 8.2, presentations, there are none. At 8.3, councillors, we have 2 deputations tonight. The first is a deputation which has been approved for Mr Stephen Johnston of Rossmoyne regarding report IE 008 of 26. The title of that report being the outcome of community consultation, dog prohibition along Centenary Park, West Foreshore, Wilson and Dog Park proposal, Ferndale Park in Ferndale. Mr Johnston, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Nice to see you here, Stephen, and please come forward to make your presentation.
Thank you very much.
You have up to 10 minutes.
Thank you. Whoop. I'm sorry for I had a technological failure tonight and I couldn't print it off, hence the need to have have it on screen.
Don't want to hear problems, just solutions. Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, my name's Stephen Johnston, Delphi Court, Rossmoyne, and I'm speaking tonight in support of the Officer Recommendations 1 and 2 under agenda item outcome of community consultation, dog prohibition along the Centenary Park, West Foreshore and Wilson. As is probably well known, Centenary Park West was from the mid-1960s to 1983, thank you very much, the Wilson tip, as is shown there, and Mr Mayor, you probably recall it was at that time. It was then subject to substantial remediation over many years to contain, and once again the clicker is not going to work.
We might be able to help you there, I think.
There it is. I've got to push it a couple of times. It was subject to substantial remediation to contain the asbestos and other toxic wastes. And yet, remarkably, despite all the challenges over these years, a significant threatened ecological community of coastal salt marsh has survived. The briefing also refers to a threatened ecological community of Banksia woodland at the eastern end of the park, but unfortunately that woodland no longer exists. In fact, I don't think it's existed for a very long time because it was taken over by casuarinas, eucalypts and weed species. So what this motion is really focused on is protection of the coastal salt marsh. and it has so many important attributes. It not only provides breeding and feeding areas for fish and birds, it stabilises riverbanks, helps protect water quality by filtering nutrients, and helps tackle climate change by storing blue carbon. Because it only occurs in a thin strip around Australia's coast and coastal rivers, so much of it has been lost to pollution, invasive weeds, land clearing and infill developments. And for example, very close to home, salt marsh was once far more common on the southern side of the river. If I keep pressing, it will change. This photograph was taken, and this from the city's amazing photographic archive, which I take every opportunity to promote. And a lot of that is coastal salt marsh. But it was buried in the early 1960s under sand dredged from the floor of the Canning River for a huge land reclamation scheme by the then Shire of Canning for what is now the suburb of Shelley. And again, if I keep pressing, it may, there it is. So under all of that sand, which is now the suburb of Shelley, was a lot of coastal salt marsh. So salt marsh and the wildlife which it provides for need every protection that they can be afforded. The city's website has described succinctly the potential adverse impact of dogs. Protection and conservation of wildlife does not just relate to dogs chasing wildlife, as there can be other unintended harmful effects from off-leash dogs on wildlife and the natural environment. Dogs simply walking or running through an area can disturb and stress wildlife and damage habitat and revegetation sites. Unfortunately, we too often see this along the Shelley-Rossmoyne foreshore, and it's a major reason why, where feasible, revegetation areas are fenced by the city until the young plants become established. In light of this, it's pleasing that dog owners were among the majority of respondents to the city's survey who expressed support for the proposal to have the foreshore section of Centenary Park West, as the Dog Act puts it very simply, a place where dogs are prohibited. While this is the first time that Canning has proposed this classification, it's not at all uncommon in other municipalities where dog-prohibited zones extend over beaches, river foreshores, nature reserves, playgrounds, kindergartens and schools. For example, in the city of Melville, as you can see on this map marked in blue, long stretches of their Swan and Canning River foreshores are dog-prohibited zones, as are long sections of the Canning River foreshore in the city of South Perth, marked there in red, right up to, marked there in brown, should I say, or browny red, right up to the boundary of Centenary Park West. Centenary Park West is currently a dog off-leash zone, and I would expect that it has been since it was open for public recreation 6 years ago. So turning the most visited southern section of the park into a dog prohibition zone will require a significant shift in the attitudes and behaviour of some dog owners who frequent the park. That will not be achieved, as the risk assessment in the briefing seems to suggest, just by installing 5 signs along the path, updating public information and notifying the 62 respondents to the city's survey of the council's decision. The briefing says that additional ranger patrols at Centenary West may be required. I would suggest the administration should rather take heed of the views of survey respondents who supported this initiative, who said that along with signs, ranger patrols and enforcement were important factors in ensuring compliance. Or indeed, note the observation of a person who said, "I do understand that there is a threat to wildlife if out-of-control dogs are off-leash in this area. My problem is those people with uncontrollable dogs are unlikely to listen to the prohibition. They will have their dogs off-lead wherever they want." Accordingly, just promulgating the application of a new legal requirement and then relying on signs and a bit of public information to gain public compliance without the realistic prospect of some form of compliance action being taken will not, in my view, bring about the necessary behaviour change among some people and therefore may not deliver the desired outcomes of these 2 recommendations. So while I was pleased to read in the briefing that the city's community safety team has no concerns regarding compliance management, I would hope that this would not just mean that they will respond to dob-in calls, which may never come, but rather adopt the suggestion of survey respondents with a proactive approach, at least in the initial stages, of visiting the reserve with some regularity around popular times, late afternoons or weekends, and engaging with dog walkers to raise awareness of the new zoning, the reasons behind it, and the penalties for non-compliance. And if there are, as the survey respondent said, recalcitrant owners who flagrantly ignore the zoning requirement, please impose the fine specified in the legislation. Councillors, I encourage you to support this initiative tonight, and if you do, I also encourage the administration to implement it proactively. It should not be left just as a statement of unenforced good intent. Thank you.
Appreciate that. I have a second deputation here from Mr. Gordon Bateup of Rossmoyne, WA. I hope I pronounced your name correctly, Mr. Bateup. Regarding the demolition of the St. Vincent Pallotti Chapel at 55th Avenue in Rossmoyne. Mr. Bateup, you've come forward already. Thank you. The microphone is already on. You have up to 10 minutes to address council in regards to your deputation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. My name's Gordon Bateup. I've been a resident of the Margaret Hewbury Retirement Village in Rossmoyne for 23 years. I'm a regular attendee to the chapel on 5th Avenue, and I'm here tonight to formally put my objection forward to the demolition or development of St Vincent Pallotti Chapel on 5th Avenue. I lodge this formal objection regarding any proposed pending or future demolition, permits or development applications and therein structural integrity or existence of the Vincent Pallotti Chapel and from broader historic Palatine Mission Central Complex located at 50 to 65th Avenue, Rossmoyne. As a deeply concerned member of the community, I object to the demolition of this site on the following planning and historical and social grounds. 1. Significant cultural and social heritage values. The St Vincent Pallotti Chapel is recorded under place number 11958 of the West Australian State Heritage Office Inherit Database. This site holds profound historical and social significance for its role as the Palatine Mission Centre and Aboriginal hostel. This location, intricately tied to the history of young Aboriginal men and women arriving in the metropolitan area for education and employment, making it an indispensable landmark of community hearing, reconciliation and shared Australian history. 2. Architectural authenticity and integrity. According to the State's Heritage Assessment, the complex displays medium to high degree of architectural integrity and authenticity. The chapel itself stands as a landmark visual asset within the Rossmoyne suburb. Demolishing this purpose-built sensical and community structure would irreversibly destroy the unique mid-century historical character of this area. 3. Contradiction of the local planning and heritage objectives. Allowing the destruction of a recognised heritage place contradicts the core intent of State Planning Policy 3.5, History, Heritage, Conservation, and the City of Canning responsibility to identify and protect places of local heritage value. The loss of this infrastructure permanently removes irreplaceable cultural fabric from the City of Canning municipality. Demand for heritage protection and assessment. Before any consideration is given to a demolition permit, the City of Canning must exercise its statutory authority to ensure a rigorous heritage impact statement is conducted. We urge the City to refuse demolition and instead initiate an emergency review to place this property onto the City of Canning Local Heritage Survey and Heritage List permanent statutory protection. St Vincent Pallotti Chapel is an irreplaceable piece of Rossmoyne's identity. The community strongly supports adaptive reuse options that preserve the external fabric of history of the building rather than absolute demolition. I request that the City of Canning immediately registers this objection, updates me on any planning committee meeting regarding this site and notifies me of the Council's final determination. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for coming down. I very much appreciate that. While you're here, I'm going to ask Mr Donaghy, if you don't mind, without notice, I might get Mr Donaghy from our planning section, just have a quiet chat to you off the record,
Sure.
Just to maybe make things a little bit clearer. And if you had any questions for him, I'm sure Mr Donaghy would be happy to answer those tonight. And if he can't, he'll certainly get back to you with an answer. Mr Donaghy, you happy to do that?
Definitely, Mr Mayor.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming down. I very much appreciate it. And thank you to Mr Johnston for his earlier deputation. Thank you, councillors. I'll move on to item 9, which is applications for leave of absence, none of which have been received. Questions by members of which due notice has been given, there are none. Items brought forward for the convenience of those in the public gallery, there are none. Reports of committee meetings. Item 12.1 is the first of those reports. It's the report of the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee held back on the 2nd of July 2026. The committee's recommendation is that the recommendation of the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee meeting held on that date, as listed in this report, be adopted, and a suite of items are then listed from 1 to 5. That recommendation appears on page 4 of tonight's agenda and is on screen. Can I have a mover, please, for the item? Deputy Mayor, thank you. Councillor Hearn will be the seconder. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, I support the committee's decisions and the officer's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hearn.
Supported without comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hearn. Councillors, anyone wish to speak against the item or ask a question before we move on? Thank you, councillors. Let's put the item to the vote.
The recommendations from the Audit and Risk Committee has been carried unanimously with all 10 voting in favour.
Thank you, Governance. Item 13 is the next on the agenda this evening. At item 13.1, the report from Mr Michael Littleton, the Office of the CEO. The first report being OC 013 of 26. The title of the report, Proposed Acquisition and Sale of Right-of-Way. That's at Lot 66, Centre Street in Queen's Park. The officer's recommendation, which is in 3 parts, appears on page 8 of tonight's agenda and is also on screen. Can I have a mover, please, for that item from Queen's Park? Councillor Hearn, thank you. A seconder? Councillor Jacobs, thank you. Councillor Hearn?
This seems to be a reasonably simple solution to a somewhat tricky issue, and I might only express minimal regret about the time and attention to achieve this resolution. I support this recommendation.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Hearn. Councillor Jacobs?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I've given it consideration. I think it'll be of benefit to the long-term development of the school, and they pretty much own all their surrounding land. So I think this is going in the right direction. Thanks, Mr Mayor.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Councillor. Councillors, any questions or anyone wish to speak against the item before I put it to the vote? Thank you. We shall put it to the vote.
Motion OC-01326 has been carried unanimously with all 10 voting in favour.
Thank you. The next item is item 13.2 from the Directorate of Mr Nelson Maurizio, the Director of Corporate and Commercial. It's CC 010 of 26. Title of the report being the monthly financial report from back in May 2026. The recommendation is on page 16 of tonight's agenda and it is now on screen. Can I have a mover, please, for the item? Thank you, Councillor Secon. A seconder, Councillor Page. Thank you. Councillor Secon.
I support the officer's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Page, have you got anything to add?
No, nothing further to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Page. Any questions, councillors, before we move on? Thank you. We'll put the item to the vote.
Motion CC-01026 has been carried unanimously with all 10 in favour.
Thank you. The next item is 13.3. It's from the Directorate of Mr Clint Burdett. He's the Acting Director of Planning and Development. It's PD 008 of 26. It's a Memorandum of Understanding between the City of Canning, the Western Australian Land Authority and the Metropolitan Redevelopment Authority, the Bentley redevelopment area. The officer's recommendation appears on page 59 of tonight's agenda and is also on screen. Can I have a mover, please, in relation to the Memorandum of Understanding? Councillor Hearn, thank you. A seconder? Deputy Mayor, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Hearn.
Whilst there's very limited role for City of Canning Council in this redevelopment, the redevelopment is a hugely significant development in our suburbs, and I look forward to receiving progressive updates on any milestones that emerge as a result of this MOU being executed.
Thank you, Councillor Hearn. Deputy Mayor.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, I support the MOU, and it's a very positive step in the right direction. It's going to make clear the functions and responsibilities of all the parties and key stakeholders at the site, and also require them to consult and coordinate. Such an arrangement will only benefit the Bentley redevelopment area and also the local community. I do have still some remaining concerns about the car park adjacent to the Bentley Community Centre, which we talked about today. It's still not clear, despite the MOU, who is responsible for ensuring proper and safe parking at this location. So just for council's benefit, so except for the Aquad Bays, the rangers haven't got the authority to issue infringements at the park, as it's not city managed land. However, the car park serves probably our second most popular venue. So it's WA land, but it's unlikely they would agree to taking responsibility for controlling parking at the site. So I've had a chat with CEO Littleton today, and I'm very happy that he's going to put a plan in place and with the intention of improving the parking situation at the centre, and I hope we'll address the issues that have been occurring there. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And after speaking to you today, I also spoke to the CEO in relation to the matter. CEO, did you want to shed any light on that, or are you happy to let that sit for the moment?
Look, other than to say I appreciate that it's an ongoing issue, and the team are very focused on coming up with tangible solutions to the current problem.
Well, confident we'll find a solution somewhere along the line. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Anyone wish to ask a question or speak against the recommendation? Thereby, we shall put the matter to the vote. Thank you.
Motion PD 00826 has been carried unanimously with all 10 in favour. Thank you.
Thank you, Governance. Next item is item 13.4 from the Directorate of Mr Warren Bowe, the Director of Infrastructure and Environment and former Acting CEO. Thank you, Director. It's IE 007 of 26. It's request for tender, in brackets RFT, close brackets, 10 of 2026 for the supply and laying of asphalt. The officer's recommendation is on page 66 of the agenda and is also on screen. It is in two parts, 1 and 2. Before I start, I just wanted to say, Deputy Mayor, we had a conversation. I had a concern about the recommendation. My jet lag had caused me to read the recommendation completely upside down. All of my concerns have been put to bed, so we shall move on. Can I have a mover in relation to that item? Thank you, Councillor Kunza. And a seconder would be our Deputy Mayor. Councillor Kunza.
Thank you, Mayor Hall. I support the officer recommendation. I thank Director Bow and Mr. Bosic for the further information regarding Council's questions, and I support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kunza. Deputy Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, given the high volatility in the petrochemical market at the moment, I think it's entirely appropriate, and it's good to see the city exercising caution in this regard and only offering a year's contract with a potential extension of 6 months. Thank you.
Appreciated. Thank you. Any questions in relation to the tender, councillors, before we put the item to the vote? None. Thank you. If no one wishes to speak against the item, I shall put it to the vote. Thank you, councillors.
Motion IE 00726 has been carried unanimously with all 10 in favour.
Thank you. The final item on tonight's agenda is IE 008 of 26. It's the outcome of community consultation dog prohibition along Centenary Park West, Foreshore, Wilson and Dog Park proposal, Ferndale Park in Ferndale. The officer's recommendation, which is in 4 parts, appears on screen now, also is on page 72 of the agenda. And just a reminder to council that an absolute majority is required for this item. Can I have a mover, please, for the item? Deputy Mayor, thank you. Councillor Page would be the seconder. Deputy Mayor, I think we found a good balance there, haven't we?
I think so. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We did. And look, I support the officer's recommendation as is to prohibit dogs from the foreshore area at Centenary Park West. And I'd just like to thank Mr. Johnston for his presentation, which really made clear the reasons why dogs should be kept away from this rare and critical habitat. So the city, as demonstrated through the presentation, has really put a tremendous amount of work and resources into rehabilitating and revegetating the foreshore area. And this investment, it really has yielded fantastic results with the return of wildlife and musk ducks and black swans and many other water birds to this section of the Canning River. Its comparative distance as well from residential housing makes it a critical habitat for roosting and nesting birds. And so I believe it's appropriate to make the foreshore off limits for dogs given its higher environmental value and to protect the wildlife that relies on it. This other part of the officer's recommendation, I think it's, and we discussed it at the AB, it's important to note that the recommendation isn't, or the city isn't, recommending approving a fenced dog exercise area at Ferndale Park, is simply seeking council's support to progress some concept designs and to get some cost estimates, and the city will bring that to us at a budget workshop meeting or an SIB in the future, and we can consider that at that time. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Page.
Thank you. I support the officer's recommendation. I do want to thank not only the team but all the community that took the time to respond to these public notices. We can see from the feedback from the community that they are very much in favour of supporting the environmental protection of these areas and even from the dog owners themselves. So it's really great to see that we're taking these steps to protect the environment and that is supported by the local community that do go and enjoy that area every single day. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just wanted to speak, I haven't spoken yet tonight, just in support of this, and people that know me know I'm an advocate for animal welfare and also for the rights of dog owners. But, you know, there has to be a balance struck, doesn't there? And Mr. Johnson makes a fine point, but that point had already been arrived at by council, I believe, in many respects from the work that we've done to discuss the matter and to come to a sensible solution, I believe, one that takes into account the sensitivity of that area there. I'm really taken by the comments today by Mr. Johnston in relation to the guardrails that need to be put in place by the city to ensure that the new compliance regime is actually adhered to, and I'm confident that that will happen. I think the difficulty may be here that, as you know, this little area here sits right on the boundary of the city of South Perth, which will make it a little bit difficult for us in some respects, but it is commonplace for us to always to monitor any changes as we do. Our rangers will already have been instructed to do that. We'll be looking at reviewing the success of this early in the piece and at least in the first 6 or 12 months. And if we need to tweak what we are doing, we will be doing that. Director Bow, just a question without notice, it would always be the case that we would actually review the success and compliance when we have a change like this? How would that proceed in your eyes?
Yes, that's correct, Mr Mayor. Probably upon reflection, the report could have bolstered some commentary in relation to how we'll monitor the implementation in the first instance, including engaging our rangers, and we'll report back to elected members if there are any issues.
Okay, I'm satisfied that those guardrails will be put in place, and I'm sure that there are councillors here that will also make sure that that is done, including the local ward councillors will also make sure, I'm not saying hold the city to account, but we're a team effort here. And I'm certain that we will work together to make sure we get the best possible outcome. Council's resolution here, you know, if we reach a resolution on this matter, and I feel quite confident that we do, we always like to make sure that the intent of the resolution is carried out by the city, and I'm sure we'll be working towards that outcome. Thank you. Did anyone else wish to speak or speak against the item or ask a question? Yes, of course, Councillor Jacobs.
This might have been answered last week because I wasn't here, but what is South Perth doing? Are they going to do the same thing, or what's on their side of the fence there happening?
I'm not sure if South Perth have actually been consulted. We might actually just let them know. I think it might be a good idea to at least send a letter to the administration. You raise a good point. I think most of the people that wander along there, it's such a long way from many of the residents. Obviously, we've got our own people there, but a lot of them will be from Manning and Salters Point. So you raise a good point. I think we'll send them a letter and advise their people as well. Councillors, we might put that item to the vote. Thank you, councillors.
Motion IE 00826 has been carried by absolute majority, with all 10 voting in favour.
Thank you. Item 13.5 for Mr Gary Fisher, the Director of Customer and Community. There are no items from that directorate. Item 14, motions of which previous notice has been given. There are none. Urgent business this evening at item 15. There are none. And 16, confidential items. There are none to consider this evening, councillors. At item 17, therefore, there being no further business, I declare the meeting closed. The time now 6:42 p.m, and I'd like to sincerely thank everyone for their attendance, both personally and also at home online. Thank you, everyone, and good night.